You are my star. Yeah, second beer. This is a porter. We go through different stages in our lives. I was really into porters for a while. The guy I rode to school with, I was a I was a history and government teacher at Springdale High, and my friend was chemistry and biology. He's a really smart guy, but he made his own vodka. He made his own beer, and he made a porter once. Oh my gosh, it was the best porter I've ever had, made in his kitchen. But he was a really smart country boy. I mean, I'm a country boy from Arkansas near Crowley's Ridge, who got a full scholarship to Vanderbilt and became got into computers and coding. He codes for fun, but became a teacher. I became a teacher at 40. He became a teacher. I don't think he was 45, but we were both older, and we were ready for something different and ready to teach subjects we loved. I think that's part of it. One thing people don't understand about teachers is most of us love what we're teaching. I love government and I love history and I love teaching those. You don't always get to get the job that you love, but hopefully you'll get it some of the time. And I was told when I was younger, oh, you'd be a good teacher, and I was like, man, I thought I'd be some type of politician because I studied political science and went into public administration masters, but it wasn't meant to be, and I became a teacher and loved it. So who knows? As I said, I became a teacher at 40. So if you're struggling at 22, 32, I've been there. Lots of people have been there. If you're struggling at 52, a real tragedy is we make people work so long in their life beyond what is acceptable. It's because of the greed. We're greedy and we've accepted greed. Greed's okay, man. So we're okay with billionaires and we're okay with poverty. Like that's the way it's supposed to be. Nah, we're fucked up. We've been brainwashed and belittled. I mean, we should be up here spiritually. We're down here. And I think it's mainly because of greed. You want a gigantic house. You don't just want a nice house. You want a gigantic house. You don't want just $500,000. You want $20 million, and then you want $20 billion. We're okay with that. See, that's our problem. You think it's these, it's the billionaires, it's the elite. We like blaming other people. This is a democracy. We've decided cut taxes on the rich is fine. That's the Republican way. And you can talk about morality, all the morality that Republicans say that they have, that Democrats don't have. I don't believe it. But let's talk about the number one fundamental issue of tax breaks for rich, whether it's Ronald Reagan or the Bushes or Trump and the Republicans. They need a Republican legislature to do this. And that always happens. So, what is that about? Your morality. What did Jesus say? Sell all your things and give the money to the poor. No. Or when the people complained, hey, what about our taxes? And he said, render unto Caesar what Caesar wants and render unto God or what God deserves. So pay your taxes. Shut up, pay your taxes, and be a spiritual person in the service of the divine. Well, pay your taxes, man. But the rich, and for some reason, Trump has become the hero of so many people. But he may have to pay $100 million on taxes that he avoided, and all these different ways that the rich people can avoid taxes. And some of the richest people don't pay taxes because they know how to deal with stuff. They got really good lawyers. And is that smart? I don't know if I'd call it smart. Corrupt. I'd call it corrupt. I'd call it divisive. I'd call it destructive. You want to destroy a society, make people greedy and love money, and concentrate the wealth into the hands of the few and have the many struggle. Like I call it the modern plantation. It's like a plantation. People are mad saying, I like Trump because I was better off with him. You guys are so short-sighted, and you have this narrow vision of what life's about. Remember, Trump cut the taxes and the Republicans on the billionaires and corporations, right? So wealth concentrated. It didn't do you a lot of good. Well, you think these billionaires are going to think of you, the regular person? What kind of fantasy is that, man? Because they tell you that? Don't be stupid. I'm country. I'm from Arkansas. Country people aren't stupid unless they want to be. It's up to all of us to try to understand our situation and the complexities of life on Earth and being a citizen in a nation of 350 million, 340 million. You can try to, go to some state and make it a, what do you call it, a free land, or, like you don't want any laws, any rules, and you'll secede from the Union. So I remember reading about a lady in Idaho. She lived there for a long time, and these new people were moving in that were pretty radical, right-wing, maybe survivalists, and maybe white supremacists. And they were talking or something, and the guy goes, well, maybe you ought to leave. Like, we're coming in, we're taking over, and maybe you need to leave. If we support bullies, whether they're working class bullies or billionaire bullies, we're going to you'll reap the whirlwind. It's hard being a human being. It's hard being a good citizen. It's hard understanding how 8 billion people can mess up the climate by burning fossil fuels and eating so much meat, which both uses a lot of water and also creates a lot of other gases like methane. It's hard to understand how that affects the terrible storms and the terrible heat. We'll set another record, it looks like, this year, the hottest year ever. It looks like. What is it? It's May. It looks like we're January, February, March, April. And these denials are just an escape from being a good citizen. I deny climate change. It doesn't make it unreal. It is real. And we have to be grown up and responsible. You talk about freedom, a lot of people, freedom. But they don't talk about responsibility to ourselves, our honor, each other, and this beautiful planet we've been given. And we are beautiful too. But if we act like animals, I shouldn't say that. If we act like greedy, malevolent, lost souls, it's going to be a bad situation. Animals are much better than us. I shouldn't say we act like animals because animals are doing just fine. I think the Buddhists, when they talk about does a dog have Buddha mind? Well, I think it means partly is just does the dog do what it's supposed to do naturally and not think too much and not be too arrogant and too. So it's about being natural, or some say authentic self, your authentic self. So, three of the best people I ever knew were my mother, her brother, and her father from Lincoln, Nebraska. Just good hearted, honest, honorable people uh, from Nebraska. And I don't say that to put down Nebraska, but I'm just saying that they're from the middle of the country. Uh, and actually, my grandpa was an engineer, and I think my Uncle Jimmy was an engineer. They both died kind of young. Such good hearted people. Um, so I'm just saying it's possible. I've seen it enough. I've seen enough good people to know that, wow, we can be really good and even adapt to the changes we need to adapt to, including probably eating less meat and driving the cars not so much, having mass transit, moving toward clean energy. What did Trump do just the other day? Talking to a lot of rich CEOs and leaders of the fossil fuel industry, saying, "Hey, man, you guys help me get into office, and I'll help you guys by taking back, some of these regulations that are hurting you." That's called malevolence. That's called un-American. That's called inhumane. Helping destroy the planet by acting like climate change is a fantasy. Why would they do that? Well, to make money. The fever, the addiction to money. So yeah, maybe I'm talking to some of you guys. You got $2 billion and you want four. It's like, what's wrong with you? What happened to you? What happened to your spirit? Democracy and humanity need a real sense of equality, that we are together and we care about each other, and everybody is, a fantastic spirit from beyond, and we're not going to treat some as kings and some as slaves, which we're still doing. That's why we have ghettos and slums. And I've worked with the homeless a lot, and I'm really kind of just tired of. I've heard so many people say, "Well, a lot of the homeless want to be homeless. You can't, And I'm like, wow, what that is a cop out. That's a good way to say, I'm not guilty. It's not me. It's not us. It's them. They want to be homeless. They want to be homeless. A lot of these people say they're Christians. As I've said, Jesus says, sell all your things, give the money to the poor. No. The poor want to be homeless. They want to be poor. They're lazy. So they have this bullshit belief system that's self-centered, materialistic, full of avarice, the love of money, loving money more than the earth or each other, a true sadness, a true sin, a true crime that surrounds us and pervades us. So I don't want to be too negative. I want to be real, though. I want to be real. I just moved. The person I was renting from, it's a beautiful little place, but their fiance died, and they wanted to move back, and that was fine. I'm at a friend's now. My friend is awesome, and my landlord can get back into the house they need. Uh, let's do something positive. I ordered this complete short stories of Ernest Hemingway. Why did I order this? I was talking to a friend on the street. I was on my bike. He's walking. That's the only way we ever see each other. Is I ride my bike and I see him on the street. It's happened 20 or 30 times. We like each other. What did he do? He did something with the Waltons and Walmart. He helped start their food business. Anyway, he was in advertising. Just funny story the way people go through life. But we were talking, and I said, I'm really trying to read more great writers and just see, how they do it, like Joyce, or I read The Great Gatsby, Fitzgerald, which, as I told my son, it was 9 chapters. The first 7 I thought were just awesome, and the last 2 became melodramatic. So I kind of lost interest in the last 2, but the first 7. But I said I didn't want to read Hemingway because so much was about war. And my friend said, "Have you ever read A Movable Feast?" I said, "No." He goes, "You got to read that." So I took his advice and I read A Movable Feast about Hemingway and his wife's, I think his first wife. I think he had 4. But in the book, it was a good relationship. They were good and caring to each other. It was healthy, it looked like to me. But some of the things he said were kind of could be a little misogynistic, judgmental. He did say this, which is interesting, because a lot of it's about his life, and so he's talking about Fitzgerald, and they were friends in Paris. And I remember one line he said something like, "Fitzgerald was my best friend when he was sober." It's just interesting. These 2 great writers, and Fitzgerald, most artists have some real emotional issues, and I guess Fitzgerald's wife. Yeah, I don't know enough about it all, but anyway, Movable Feast, I recommend. I like that. And he hung out with Joyce a little bit too. Didn't talk so much about Joyce. Ezra Pound. And Paris, he describes Paris very well. That's what a lot of great writing is description. And I've been to Paris. My girlfriend and I stayed at her friend's apartment for a week. And I really loved it. It was a small apartment, maybe a little too small, but it was small. But you could go. We were probably on the 4th floor. They don't have high rises there. Maybe 4 flights, something like that. Anyway, it had an elevator. A lot of buildings do not. But go down 4 flights, walk 3 blocks, and there's a really nice farmer's market. 5 days out of the week. Fresh food. Community. Living. as a human being together. It's really nice. I really like that so much. Simplicity. Like I said, it's a small, in America, a lot of people want these gigantic houses. Well, it pushes everybody away from each other, and a lot of resources are used, and energy is used to drive to the store and to drive here and to drive there. I like the way Paris has done it, where they have a city and people live closer together and things are more compact, but they have good parks. They do have some space, uh, have very good mass transit, um, and they use less resources and maybe more of a communal feeling. But even in Paris, the idea of the rich and poor is a tragedy. So that's all worldwide that we have to overcome. But what do they talk about? Some places in America, you live to work, like work, 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 and maybe Japan is like that, and some other countries. But in more like France, you work to live. You work to have enough money to enjoy your life and enjoy each other and enjoy experience existence until it's all over, because it will be over soon enough, and we should enjoy it, and we should enjoy each other and create and bask in the awesome beauty of the planet Earth. We're not here to compete and fight like dogs for scraps of money and housing and health care and food and utilities. We need the basics. Everybody needs the basics, and then we'll build from there into our full potentials, hopefully. But that's up to us. It's all up to us. We're not doomed to anything. We're not damned to anything. And we're not blessed. Well, we are blessed into this wonderful planet in the middle of lifeless space. We are blessed. So we just need to become better people, better citizens, more humble, more simple, and probably I want to say, we want to become, we want to fulfill our potentials. If you like painting, you should paint. If you like dancing, you should dance. If you like whatever brings you joy, you should do that. That's part of who you are. And the best dancers, the rest of us kind of look and go, "Wow, that's nice." Look at how they're dancing. That's awesome. I can't do that, but to me, that's beautiful art. Or the people that devote their lives to service, like say a nurse. Some of the best people I've ever known were hospice nurses. I was a hospice volunteer for years, but the hospice nurses, wow, angels, angels on earth. And maybe that's what brings them great joy, as well as, I don't know, whether being in a book club. I'm gonna end on this. I don't want to keep talking. Last year, I believe there was a book club in Los Angeles that was reading Finnegan's Wake, a book by James Joyce. James Joyce. I'm trying to read Finnegan's Wake and Ulysses really slow. I'm not bragging. Really slowly. I mean, yeah, I don't want to say how slow, but I bought Ulysses, and I bought a book that tries to explain Ulysses. I bought Finnegan's Wake, and I tried I bought a book that tries to explain Finnegan's Wake. This guy was so smart, spoke, I don't know, 5 languages, and kind of understood 7, and just fantastic writer, Irish writer, maybe the best in the English language as far as I can tell. But so this reading club, these people would get together in L.A., I think, and go through Finnegan's Wake together and try to understand it. And what a great hobby in a way to get together with other human beings and think and talk and discuss and argue and just try to learn and grow. So they did this, and they finally finished the book last year. And it took them, pause for dramatic effect, 28 years. It took them 28 years to finish Finnegan's Wake as a reading club. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. And what did they decide? And this isn't surprising. What did they decide when they finished? Let's start again. Now, and one interesting thing about Finnegan's Wake, and it's almost impossible to understand. I'm trying, but as this little piece of my life, just to see, wow, human being did this. I believe the first of the book starts halfway through a sentence. The end of the book, the sentence stops halfway. So the end of the book goes back to the start of the book. I don't know if this is true. I kind of think the whole book is about one day in the life in Dublin. Joyce is from Dublin, I believe, and Ulysses too, isn't that in Dublin? Or maybe one was about the night, and one was anyway, just incredible. But what it reminds me of a little bit is I taught at an English-speaking school in Morocco for a while, 9 months, I think, 8 months. But at the Jamal El Fana, a beautiful place, market, gathering area in Marrakesh. Marrakesh is a city of 1 million people. Well, this is just a cacophony of people and feelings and colors and smells and wow, just awesome. I loved it. I was in Morocco at least 30 times, I'm guessing, because I lived an hour away in Ben Gurir, and where I taught was on the campus of King Mohammed VI Polytechnic Institute. You can look that up. Just a beautiful, beautiful campus. And Ben Gurir I liked. It was just common people, regular people, and nice. They were nice to me. Yeah, I was a white guy, and I never saw any hatred toward me, and I appreciate that. They were good and loving people to me in Marrakesh and Ben Gurir, and I hope that's how they saw me. But one of the people at the Jamal El Fana, he's there and people are surrounding. He's telling a story. He's telling a story. The oral stories that go back thousands and thousands of years. The oral tradition. Ireland's good about that. The open mic nights that I went to, a large number of them, and play guitar. But somebody would tell a joke, somebody would tell a story, somebody would tell a poem. It's awesome, oral tradition. But in Marrakesh, so he'd be telling this story. People would be around him, and toward the end, they'd give him some money, and he wouldn't quite finish the story, and he'd come back the next day and he'd continue the story. And the story never ends. It's not about the ending, it's about the story. It's about being enlightened, entertained, trying to understand more about who we are and what we're doing. I don't want to cry. I love Morocco. You are.